which accounts for 10,000 square kilometers. In January, the pair of giant pandas, Huabao and Jinbaobao, traveled from China and arrived at Ähtäri Zoo, and now they are undergoing the 1-month quarantine period, and after that, they will make their debut. And today, we have the special obligation, and we are the first official media who can come here and take a look of the two pandas. And Mr. Salo is beside me. He is the expert in this zoo, and he will take us to the Panda Stadium, and we will have a look of the Huabao and the Jinbaobao.
First, give us a brief introduction about the Panda house, okay?
Yes, sure. We are happy to see that the Panda house is ready and already has had the panda for 3 weeks. And it seems to be that the panda like the house and everybody
Just translate. 刚才 Yuka 说，我们熊猫已经在这里呢生活了3个。
Just now, Mr. Salo said the pandas have been living here for 3 weeks, and he feels they are enjoyed. And some of the outside decorations are still under construction, but they live happily indoors.
Panda house is that we are located here in the middle of beautiful forest, so we are not in the hustle and bustle of a big city, so that then the panda can have their here very quiet environment, and we see that they already like it very much.
他说我们这个埃克泰里为什么把熊猫馆
He explained why they set the Panda Stadium here in Ähtäri Zoo. It's because this zoo locates in the middle of the forest, and which is unlike the crowded cities. So here, the environment is more favorable to the pandas, and the environment and temperature here is more similar to the original place of the pandas.
There are also animals that have adapted to low temperatures, to snow, habitat.
它有非常这个大熊猫在这个野外生存，因为这里的环境非常符合四川这个邛崃山啊，还有
Because pandas usually live in the wild forest, and here the natural environment is very similar to the environment to Sichuan province. Also, the temperature is very similar to that place. And now we are entering the Panda Stadium. In front of us is the gate of the Panda Stadium. And on the right hand is the front gate of Ähtäri Zoo. Panda stadiums are most welcomed in Europe. So the zoos will establish the stadium of pandas just beside the front gate. And you see it's still under construction, and it will be opened to the public on 23rd this month. And here is the canteen. After visiting the pandas, the visitors can come here and have a rest. And you see there are many signs and pictures of pandas. There are toys of pandas, including the signs and photos. And here is a sculpture of pandas. He said this one is not a real panda, but the height is the same to the real panda. So here are still under construction. This white gate is connecting to the room of the pandas, and once we want to enter in, we need to wear this cover because the pandas are still in the quarantine period. And after I change this shoe cover, our cameraman will also change it. Okay, we are ready, and we can enter the pandas room. Here writes the quarantine area. Here is the indoor area of the Panda Stadium, and you can see there are two main structures. On our right is the house of Huabao, and in front of us is the homeland of Jinbaobao. Because the pandas are in the quarantine period, we cannot meet them in person or face to face. And in front of us is Huabao. He is eating the bamboos happily, and he is 4.5 years old. Yesterday we saw him walking, and now he's having his breakfast. We see the house of Huabao is to simulate the hills and the small rivers, and there are also some pillow trees. Yuka said, in front of us is Huabao. Huabao is very popular in China, and before he came here, we already know about him, and he has a very big appetite. Every day, Huabao needs to take 20 kilograms bamboos. Currently, they also feed the pandas the panda cakes, including minerals and corns and grains and carrots, etc. But pandas eat most of the bamboos from Sichuan. For each panda, they have an interior place of 500 square meters, and there is also outdoor enclosure place for them. And he is Honey. He's the veterinarian of Ähtäri Zoo, and he is especially for the care of Huabao. And she will introduce to us the situation of the pandas. Honey said after the pandas arrived here, they are very adapted here, and they kept eating and sleeping. Honey said at the beginning, they actually were struggling with the jet lags because she saw it from the monitors, and she found when Huabao was in Sichuan in the morning, in the very early morning, he might wake up and he found it's dark outside, he would continue sleeping. It lasts for a week. And then he has been adapted very well. He continued eating and sleeping every day. And she thinks Huabao is feeling bored of current life. He wants to play outside. And the temperature of this place is -10 Celsius degree. So you see the temperature comparing to the Sichuan wild mountains is very similar to each other. So it's better for Huabao to play outside, but there is still one week to go. And now we will follow Honey and to visit Jinbaobao, the female panda. Huabao is a boy, so he feels bored here. Our cameraman is ready here. She said Jinbaobao looks smaller than Huabao, but they have very different personalities. Maybe because Jinbaobao is a female panda. Jinbaobao is kind, gentle, and she soon became friends with the keeper and vegetarian here. And she would like to scratch her eyes, her ears, and she feels very intimate to the keepers. Because Huabao is a male panda. Han said every day they are watching the life of Huabao and Jinbaobao. She comes here during the daily work, and she can also monitor them in the office. And even if she goes back home, she can also monitor the pandas through the applications on her phone. And she can see what time both pandas go to sleep and wake up. Every day they will check the video records of the pandas, and they will clear the records once a week. And they will look it back, and they will check whether they broke the letters or are there problems. Every morning the keepers will come to the indoor room and clean the room. Hereby we have another veterinarian from Sichuan Conservation and Research Center for Giant Panda. He is from CCRCGP. Are you coming here with the pandas? Yes. So in your eyes, do you find any difference from them? I think they really adapt very well and they rest well. So while in Sichuan, how did you select the pandas to come to Finland? The first thing is a gene, and also the health condition, and their outfit. And I heard that Huabao was demonstrated to the public before, and Jinbaobao also demonstrated overseas, right? They can adapt to this environment. And about the bamboos, are the bamboos different from those in Sichuan? I heard that these bamboos are imported from South Europe. Yes, these are imported from the Netherlands. And there are several types of the bamboos. We are selecting the bamboos for them. So every day, what are their favorite food? Is it cake or bamboo? Last time I went to Austria and I interviewed there. I asked from the vets and the keepers, and they said they steamed the buns to pandas. Yeah, we also steam buns to pandas. That's to add nutrition. Have you sent pandas to other countries and stay there? Yes. I went to Thailand with my colleague. How long did you stay there? We stayed there for 2 months. And how long will you stay here? Also 2 months. And then you will be back to China? But you will be contacted with Finland. Yes, we will keep focusing on these pandas. We will keep in touch. Last time we received the pandas, the ambassador said, after the 2 pandas arrived in Finland, there were 3 ambassadors in Finland. And do you think these 2 pandas can give birth to panda cub soon? Yes, probably. And for the pandas in some countries, like in Austria and Spain and France, they give birth to panda cubs quickly. But for some countries, the pandas are struggling to give birth to panda cubs. Do you think the environment here is favorable for their breeding? Yes, the environment is similar to Sichuan, and sometimes the temperature might be lower than Sichuan, but we will adjust the temperature accordingly, so it won't affect much. And how about the affection of these two pandas? Yes, they have good chemistry. In the wild, the pandas live independently. Only during the breeding season, they will stay close to each other. And now it's not the breeding season yet. Jinbaobao is about 3 years old and Huabao is 4 years old. So next spring will be the breeding season for them. Yes, they will enter the breeding age. The European countries who have pandas are looking forward to panda cubs. Will you come here to proceed that breeding? Yes, we will cooperate and we will help them. If there is any need, we will come here. Thank you very much. Honey introduced that every day pandas take 10 hours to eat, and they just play a little time and then they will sleep. And she said this morning Jinbaobao was sprawling on this slope and took some exercises, and then she started eating. So the daily life of pandas are mainly eating and sleeping. There is little time for playing in between, and they will just sleep. You can introduce that this panda house has some special design, and they draw lessons from many stadiums in order to make it environmental friendly. And this stadium can accommodate 600 visitors, which can keep the noise at its lowest. And they specially designed this in order to protect the pandas. There are many boards here can absorb the noise and voices, and there are also plants on the wall. And they planted these green vegetables here in order to fresh and purify the house, because it will release oxygen. And we are at the isolation area of pandas. In future, this yellow line will be removed, and visitors can go along the glass barrier. And because the pandas are still in the quarantine period, we can only see them through the glass barrier, but in future the glass will be removed. And now only the keepers of pandas can enter the indoor area of the pandas and clean and play with them. Because pandas are in the quarantine period, these thick glasses can prevent the diseases and the exhausted gas from outside. This is just like a natural barrier to help protect the pandas in quarantine period. Yuka told us the design of this panda house is very unique, and after the quarantine period, let's have a look. That gate is an automatic gate. The pandas will learn to open this gate. The pandas can use their nose to touch the gate, and the gate will open automatically, and the pandas can go to the outside entertainment area. And these two gates are also touchable. Once the pandas use their nose to touch it, the doors will open automatically. And they put bamboos there to attract the pandas. And in future, once the pandas are getting tired, they can touch the gate with their nose and they can enter the sleeping room. Said they in particular designed the mountain stream for them, and the water will pour down from the top. And in outside they designed the stream also because pandas really like water, and there is a swimming pool for them. They can drink water or play there. And because it's freezing outside, we cannot identify the swimming pool. We can only see the platform for pandas. Later we will go outside, and after spring the pandas will play outside, and we can clearly see the stone and the stone barrier. And here is on the left is Jinbaobao's indoor and outdoor areas, and on the right is Huabao's indoor and outdoor areas. And in total, they have a zone of 10,000 square meters. The environment of Ähtäri outside are similar to the mountains in Sichuan province, and also like the pine tree and the cauliflower tree are similar to those in Sichuan. Also, people call pandas snow bear because they have the white fur, and the white panda has the black color. It's because he wants to protect himself. If the panda lie on the snow, people will regard it as the stone, and people will stay away from it. And now we are going to the outside area. Because it's in the quarantine period, all the indoor rooms are closed. And there is another journalist from Finnish official MTV, and he is also taking photos from panda. This journalist introduced that Finnish people really love pandas. They've been waiting for pandas for decades. And they are the first country in Scandinavian countries who have pandas. So the other countries are envious. They really like pandas. He introduced MTV as the partner of Ähtäri Zoo, and they've been staying with the pandas for long. They were at Sichuan, at Dujiangyan, Sichuan, when the pandas are setting off to Finland, because they are making a documentary and they have special rights to make this documentary on pandas. That's why they can come here and shoot photos for the and videos for the cameras. And this documentary will be broadcasted on 3rd of March and also on MTV channel. And now let's go to the outside place. Because if we want to interview here, we need to be accompanied by the staff, and they need to inspect whether we have broken any rules. And the vet Honey will be accompanied by our cameraman, and I will follow Yuka to go outside. Okay, let's take off our shoe cover. Let me help you. We've taken off the shoe cover. Let's wait for Yuka. The temperature indoor is about 10 plus Celsius degrees, but it's -7 outside. Yuka introduced that the lowest degree in Ähtäri can be -35 Celsius degrees. In summer or in winter it's about 16 to 17. And in summer, it's about 20 plus Celsius degrees. Let's wait for the correspondent from Finland MTV, and he's also taking off the shoe covers. This way is still under construction. And the outside decorations are not finished yet. And you see the cables on the ground and also wood. And people are working hard to prepare for the 3rd of March. That's the opening ceremony of these panda houses. The president of Finland will also come. And from that day, they will sell tickets. And now the online tickets access is opened. It is estimated that the ticket in Ähtäri Zoo is the highest in Europe. It's about 35 euros per ticket. He said The barrier in the middle is to separate this area. This one is the playing ground of pandas. And the panda would like to live independently. They don't have a permanent partner. Only during mating season, if the female panda have that willingness, they will put two pandas together. And after dozens of hours, they will be separated. They will live independently. After the panda cub borns, the panda cub will stay with the female panda for about 2 years. And you can say in future 1 to 2 years, they will closely observe their feedings, especially in springtime, during the breeding season of the female panda, and they will decide whether they will put two pandas together. And now the pandas will play separately in their own areas. And we are now at the playground of Huabao. So for each panda, they have a playground of 1,500 square meters, which accounts for 3,000 in total. And after 1 week, we will see the weather. If the weather permits, the pandas will play outside. So after 1 week, that's just before the opening of the house. And now the Finland MTV journalists want to interview Yuka. And we can say something about Ähtäri Zoo now. Ähtäri Zoo locates to the northwest of Helsinki, the capital of Finland. And here there are many animals from the warmer areas. It's not very cold here because the weather and temperature here is the ocean type. And in summer, the temperature is about 20 degrees. In winter, it's about minus 10 degrees. There are not many types of animals here. There are deer, sheep, and wild pigs, and the leopard, and the red panda, also wolf, and some other types of bear. There are in total over 60 types of animals here. And for the animals, they have their own houses. Sometimes they play outside. Panda don't sleep or stay indoor permanently in winter, but bears do so. And Finnish people regard the pandas as the living fossil. They want to do research and to know about the history of animals' evolution. And Finnish people really love pandas, and they use China's bid to build up this Panda Stadium. Like for a small country, it actually takes several years to build such a vast panda house. But they actually started in the year of 2017. in January, and until July, they've already finished most parts of the house. This is really fast. For many countries, it takes 2 to 3 years for the construction of panda houses, but here, within 1 year, they've finished. And this panda house is unlike the other countries. It's not in the crowded city center. Here, it's full of the North Europe features, including some noise treatment boards and protection barriers for the pandas. They take full considerations. Also, they specially designed a rest area for the visitors. At that area, the visitors can have coffee and food, and there are also souvenir shop. And we are now at the outside playground of the pandas, and there are some cables lying on the ground. Yesterday was Friday, and today is Saturday, but the workers are also driving here. So they gave up their weekends and they are preparing for the opening of the panda house. So you see, the whole country really attaches great importance to pandas because their prime minister will also come. So they are really sped up working on it. And these are some left woods and cables. And because pandas are still in the quarantine period, the workers are working hard outside to finish the construction. And you see the wooden barriers are to guarantee the safety both for the visitors and pandas. And there will be stream here. They are building a manual tree house for Jinbaobao. While Jinbaobao was in China, she has a brother. And in order to prevent the bamboos from stealing by her brother, every day she brings the bamboos to the top of the tree, and she will climb up the tree and eat the bamboos there. So that's the habit of Jinbaobao. She would like to collect all the bamboos and climb up the tree and eat the bamboos there. That's why they want to build a tree house for Jinbaobao, and Jinbaobao can keep her habit. She can collect the bamboos and climb up the tree and eat the bamboos there. He wants to show us some interesting stuff. Yuka wants to introduce why panda is a black and white animal. You can introduce that in ancient times in the Wolong protection area in one forest, there were pandas and tigers. In order to hide themselves from the tigers, the pandas generally turn to white and black. The white is the color of snow, and the black is the color of the dark stones. So whenever there are tigers, the panda will hide themselves in the stone area, and the tigers will disregard the white as snow and the black as dark stone. He heard this history of pandas in Sichuan in Wolong protection area. In Europe, most of the bears sleeps for months during winters, but pandas have to be active finding bamboos to eat, so they have to move around continuously. And during the winter, the color of snow and stone are also black and white, so pandas can be adapted to the weather here. Currently, the bamboos the pandas are eating are imported from the Netherlands and France, but their nice Chinese colleagues have introduced bamboos from high mountains or from Heilongjiang province. There are in total 11 species of bamboos, and they will plant the bamboos here, and in this spring they will plant all these 11 species of bamboos here. And by then, people will not say Finland has no bamboos. And we will plant our own bamboos to feed the pandas. Yuka said he has been cooperated with forestry experts in China for more than 20 years. At the beginning, they took photos at the panda base, and by comparison, they finally chose the Ähtäri Zoo because they did many research and comparison. For more than 20 years, they've been working on the selection of places in Finland for the pandas. And we've passed the barrier wall, and now we are entering the playground of Jinbaobao. And the snow is really thick. Be careful It's very slippery. You see, maybe Yuka is strong and he doesn't wear much. But for me, I feel it's really freezing. Because Finland locates at the north of Europe, and they can find these natural woods, and these woods can stay away from rotting, and it can last for 20 years. It won't be rottish, and there is no any kind of chemicals. Ähtäri Zoo is also called organic zoo. Organic zoo means green. So you can see they really pursue the protection of nature, and the materials they are used here are natural materials and environmental protection woods. The whole barrier are made of natural woods. And you can introduce that in Jinbaobao's playground. There is a big slope, and the river will flow through. And here will be the swimming pool. And you can see the two small trees. After the snow melt, there will be the swimming pool. She also considered the emotion of Jinbaobao, so they designed the high platform of both Jinbaobao and Huabao. They can sit on the high platform and they can have a bird view. And on our right side, that's the lake. Finland has thousands of lakes and isles, which tops North Europe. So you can see they have abundant water resources. So you see the tap water here also tastes sweet. The panda exports from China are also satisfied with the environment here. In winter, the temperature can be -10, and pandas like to play with snow. And in summer, the temperature will be very favorable. It will contribute to the breeding, to the mating of pandas. So panda enjoys a very similar environment here to China. The Finnish experts are really looking forward to the birth of panda cubs in 2 years. And here is the way to protect both pandas and visitors. So we have go along the whole circle of the outside playground. You can say considering the correspondence, they also designed a place for shooting photos and videos. And it's just beside the giant stone. There will be the fountain here. The pandas will play beside the fountain, and the journalists can stand here and have the perfect photos and videos. And this area is the place for it's the best place for the journalists, because you can have a whole view of the playground of the pandas. Yuka invited us to come here in summer. Invite us to have a look here. There will be crowds of visitors and media, and the pandas will play indoor and outdoor. It will be a very different view. Okay, dear viewers, today we are live streaming at Ähtäri Zoo, and that's the end of today's live streaming. Hope you like Ähtäri Zoo. In future, we will continue focusing and broadcasting the life of Huabao and Jinbaobao in Ähtäri Zoo. And we will also continue focusing on other pandas in Europe. Their life here are very carefully taken care of. So please don't worry. All the pandas who are living in Europe are having a very comfortable and happy life. That's the end of today's live streaming. Thank you.